Hey, welcome back out to the channel today. My name's Kim. I'm a licensed and nationally certified Chinese medical provider, and I'm a Taoist practitioner. One of the things that I like to focus on in clinic is Chinese nutritional therapy, because that therapy is focused on how you use food to rebuild your body instead of how do you cut out food so that you can lose weight and gain it as soon as you're done with your diet. Okay, so today I needed to do something quick and easy, and oh my goodness, I have been watching the Great British Baking Show. I think that's what it's called. And they were talking about doing tarts and doing a Tarte Tatin. And so I tried one out, and I'm not going to make the pastry for tarts because, that's way too much work. So I actually bought the pastry for tart, but I also added in cardamom because they always talk about cardamom. They're always baking with cardamom. Everything's made with cardamom. So 2 types of cardamom, green and black. The green is a milder, sweeter cardamom, and you can pretty much use it in anything. And then the black, I imagine that's what we usually get, but that's going to be your heavier one that you use for what the British Baking Show calls savory foods. I needed to make something quick. I'm going to do a tart tatin. I'm going to make it a savory one with vegetables. And so what I did is I went into the refrigerator and I cleaned it out. And I had a leek that I had to get rid of. I really wanted to use these. Now, you know, leeks, good for the lungs. Peppers, good for the lungs. Liver, lungs, yin. Now that's the other thing is making sure that you're rebuilding yin as you get older. And then I just added in some carrots and mushrooms. Mushrooms, good for the immune system. Carrots, good for yin. And I'm going to cut these up. I'm going to use more than what they usually use in the British baking shows, because when I tried mine, I did it with what they said, and I'm like, that's not quite enough. So I'm going to cut these, cube these. I'm going to make these into little slices, and the same with the mushrooms. I'm going to slice the garlic because everybody likes cooked garlic, and then the ginger, I'm going to mash that because nobody likes sliced ginger as a bite. Added in basil. So one of the things that, I don't know if you've noticed this, but why people don't usually like eating vegan is, you know, if we've been eating processed foods for forever, which a lot of us have, well, when you get to vegan foods, they're really kind of blah. So the big thing for me when I'm making vegan foods is that it's really tasty. And one of the ways that I can ensure that it's tasty is if I use a lot of spices. So I am going to use mustard, dill, cardamom, bay, cumin. Everybody likes cumin. Then the basil and the garlic. Here are all the spices that I used. And if I had used all dried spices, I'm thinking it would only be a teaspoon of all of them, except for the cardamom. I only used 2 seeds of the cardamom, and that gave this really nice brilliance, kind of like rosemary does to essential oils. I used a small electric coffee grinder to grind up the cardamom and the bay, and then I combined all the spices together into one small bowl. Hopefully that's going to give me enough of a flavor pop that this tastes savory and enjoyable. So let me cut everything up, and then we'll start cooking it off. Now I'm going to do these potatoes first because I'm actually going to boil these to soften them, and I'm going to cube them, then boil them and soften them, and then I'm going to cut up everything else. The onions and the leeks, I am going to do a slow cook over the stove on these with vinegar and sugar, so just to caramelize them a bit. Okay, let's just chop everything up. the sweet potatoes are only cooked halfway through, drain them, put them aside, and start layering all the vegetables. Now, here's the neat thing about this. Your first layer is going to be your top layer because you're going to flip this over when you're done baking. If you're really good at making patterns, make a pattern with that first layer so that the top of your tart looks really inviting. I put a little butter down at the bottom of the pan so that hopefully the top layer doesn't stick. And then I started layering all the different vegetables, and I put the spices in between each of the layers to mix all that flavor up with it. To give it that knockout boost, I poured in about 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. One last step, time to put my store-bought pastry on top of it. Now this pastry, it doesn't bend well, so I can't tuck it in. But let's put it in the oven at 425 Fahrenheit or about 220 Celsius and cook it for about 40 minutes. I'm going to check 20 minutes, then 10 minutes, just to make sure I'm not going to burn it. Here comes the moment of truth. I've got to flip it over. The pastry is going to be on the bottom. And I do it. Success! Okay, so there's the top. You can see I tried to make a little bit of a pattern. So if you're really good at patterns, your tart's going to look really great. Now, I put in a lot more filling than they did on the Great British Baking Show, so a knife wasn't going to work. I literally had to cut my tart in order to be able to eat it. Then all you have to do is serve it up, and this is like a great, really easy, simple vegan meal. Here's what I like about it, because eating, we want it to be easy, we want it to be quick, and we want it to be tasty. And this is all of those things. It's really about a concept of putting a pastry on top of a pan so you can put whatever filling you want in this and then bake it for 40 minutes at 425, bring it out, let it cool a little bit, flip it over, and now you have a tart tatin. So anything you want to put in the filling, you can do. And I used it to clean out my refrigerator, and I can't remember what we called it when I was growing up, but your mom would literally make a stew of everything that was left over in the refrigerator, and that's kind of what I did with this tart tatin. So it has a lot of flexibility. You can really use it to make your groceries go further so you're not throwing things away. I hope this gives you another simple and easy solution that's good for you for dinner. So until next time, I'll catch you on the other side.